Today we are dealing with the budget of Parliament. Chapter 4 of the Constitution deals with Parliament, and Sections 42 quite clearly states the following, that Parliament consists of two houses, the National Assembly, that's us, and what are we supposed to do? We are elected to represent the people. So the members of Parliament, or from the National Assembly specifically, are the elected representatives of the people. And we are supposed to do the following in terms of the Constitution. We are supposed to choose a president. We are supposed to provide a national forum for public consideration of issues. We are supposed to pass legislation, and we are supposed to scrutinize and oversee executive action. And then there's the second house, National Council of Provinces. And what do? That house represents the provinces. So, with these two houses, all the people in the country are represented, either the people themselves or the provinces. On the other hand, Chapter 5 deals with the executive. The executive, on the other hand, is not representative of all the people. The executive obviously would be representative of a specific political party, be that the governing party. That's why Parliament is so very important, because we as the two houses represent the people. My concerned chairperson and Honourable Singh just now referred to that in terms of the perception of the public is not all that positive about our institution. And I'm sorry to say, but I think our institution to a certain extent is in a crisis. Parliament has not been spared from the budget cuts introduced by the National Treasury across the board. In the 2021-22 financial year, Parliament's allocation was reduced by 265.7 million. And in 2022-23, in that financial year, it will be further reduced by 338 million. Without adequate funding, Parliament cannot do its job. Obviously, it's a tragedy that so many billions of rands were lost and stolen in the last 28 years. We could have made very good, effective use of that. Honourable Speaker, you referred to the fire, and a number of colleagues referred to the fire that devastated Parliament. We don't have a normal parliamentary term. The first, basically 3 years, well, almost 3 years, were absolutely overshadowed by the COVID pandemic. That didn't make it possible for us to meet. And now we don't have a precinct. We don't have a building. We all know how Parliament is supposed to function in terms of debates, in terms of colleagues meeting one another in the corridors. Those kind of things are not happening. And unfortunately, we all know that it didn't happen by incident. Parliament was not struck by lightning or something. The facts will come out, but I think there's a lot of negligence perhaps involved. Colleagues referred to the capacity of this building, 120 members, and that it's not filled up. It's our own fault that it's not filled up. Parties can take a decision tomorrow at the Chief Whip's Forum and just implement that when we come back, that every party takes responsibility for their members and make sure that we've got a capacity in here. Honourable Speaker, you referred to Parliament, and I think from my perspective, I think remarks maybe were unfortunate. The executive authority is represented in Parliament by way of the Deputy Speaker that acts as the chairperson of the board of Parliament. And I also find it quite strange sometimes when members refer to former members in the way that they do. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. All of us will also become former members. Just remember that when we sometimes just refer to former members this and former members that. We're all going to become former members at some stage. Remember that. Honourable, remember sometimes you don't retire, politics retire you. The fact of the matter is, Honourable Speaker, that Parliament's got to play the specific role. And it was mentioned the number of bills that we've passed, etc. Obviously, we need to do much better as an institution. And we can do that. Honourable Speaker, you referred to the number, you gave us a numeric breakdown in terms of so many questions, so many bills, etc., etc. But the real question is the quality of what's happening in here, in terms of the quality of debates. Are we really debating one another? The quality of replies, etc. I've argued in the past that we should bring back the whole question of interpellations. Interpellations are very nice, active debates where we debate these issues with one another. And I think that is also very important. The credibility of the institution and the credibility of us as members of Parliament is not going to happen by itself. We will have to turn the perceptions about politicians, about members of parliament and the institution around, and that's a challenge for all of us. Thank you, Chairperson.